Previously, Li Tongya seized the opportunity created by Lu Cici's death, leading the Li clan against Mount Huatian and cutting down Lu Yuanlu in a decisive clash. Now, the Lu clan faces complete collapse, while new rivals such as the young genius An Jingming begin to emerge around Wangyue Lake. As the Li clan absorbs new territory, expands its resources, and strengthens the next generation, Li Xuan's receives a devastating new bow, and Chen Donghe prepares to step into qi refining. But beyond their borders, a desperate cultivator is fleeing for his life, and the name he has been told to seek is the Lijing Li clan. Let's continue with Reborn as an Ancient Mirror, Episode 21. Cries of terror immediately erupted beneath Mount Huatian. The headless corpse of Lu Yuanlu fell into the forest below as the mountain formation shuddered violently. Only now did the Lu clansmen truly understand what was happening. Some began to weep, others screamed in fear, still more dropped to their knees and kowtowed desperately. Yet below the mountain, Li clan soldiers had already surrounded every road so tightly that not even water could leak through. There was nowhere to run. Before long, the formation over Mount Huatian collapsed with a thunderous roar. Li Tongya rode the wind down onto the mountain. By the time his feet touched the ground, the people below had already fallen to their knees in a great mass. A frightened middle-aged man bowed so low he nearly pressed his forehead to the earth. Lu Yuanlu, current head of the Lu clan, greets the Li clan ancestor. Only now did Lu Yuanlu and the others finally understand the calamity Lu Cici had warned them about again and again before his death. Lu Cici had been buried that very morning. Before midnight, disaster had already arrived at their gates. The thought was enough to make anyone sigh. Li Tongya looked at Lu Yuanlu. The man raised his pleading face and cried, "Ancestor, please spare our lives. The Lu clan will dissolve immediately. Mount Huatian and Mount Taiyan will both belong to the Li clan. Every disciple of our family will obey your orders and never harbor a second heart. Quickly, stand up, please rise." Li Tongya was unexpectedly courteous. Regret showed on his face as he said, "I respected Senior Lu Cici's efforts to preserve his bloodline. It was only because Lu Yuanlu went too far that I took action to punish him. Clanhead Lu, please do not blame me." "How would this lowly one dare?" Lu Yuanlu cried. Li Tongya did not wait for him to say more. His voice remained warm. "The Lu clan no longer has a qi refining cultivator. You truly cannot maintain a foothold around Wangyue Lake anymore. Has Clan Head Lu thought of what to do next?" The middle-aged man froze. Then something seemed to dawn on him. Hope and grief appeared on his face at the same time. He hurriedly said, "We will obey whatever ancestor commands." Li Tongya nodded and addressed the direct descendants of the Lu clan kneeling below. "The Lu and Li clans have, after all, been friendly for many years. I also respect the way Senior Lu Cici protected his descendants, so I will give all of you two choices. First, you may become part of the Li clan's 4 towns. The men will marry into local families and the women may remarry. The surname Lu will no longer be preserved. From this day forward, you and your descendants will be no different from the people of our towns. You may remain wealthy households and spend the rest of your lives in peace. Second, if any of you still wish to rebuild the Lu clan, we will not drive you to extinction. I will leave you a road to survival and escort you beyond our territory. After that, you may seek your own fortune." The moment Li Tongya finished speaking, Li Xuanfeng understood his intention. He stood calmly to one side and smiled. "Anyone who wishes to rebuild the Lu clan may follow me down the mountain." The entire place became deathly silent. Everyone lowered their heads. No one dared move. Only after a long time did a woman step out. Anger burned on her face as she moved toward Li Xuanfeng. Li Xuanfeng glanced around, then led her down the mountain. When those above saw that the Li clan soldiers below had actually opened a road for them, a few more finally dared to follow. Then, more. Within moments, nearly half of the Lu clansmen on the mountain had gone down, led by several embryonic breath cultivators. They departed in miserable silence. Li Tongya sneered inwardly. He turned toward Lu Yuanlu with a smile. "Clan head Lu, you are not going with them?" Lu Yuanlu raised his head and smiled bitterly. "People like us were born without spiritual apertures. If we leave the mountain, we will only become servants to those cultivators. What meaning would there be in that? I would rather submit to the Li clan. At least I may still live as a wealthy man and avoid wandering from place to place in my old age, only to die in some forgotten corner." He cupped his hands, forced an ingratiating smile onto his face, and lowered his voice. "The Lu clan still has several inherited arts. I will go retrieve them for Senior." With that, he naturally began to walk away. Li Tongya's gaze swept over him from head to toe. His voice turned cold. "Stop." Lu Yuanlu froze. Then he dropped to his knees with a thud and did not dare speak. Although the Lu clansmen looked utterly defeated and useless, Li Tongya remained cautious. He feared Lu Yuanlu might only be pretending to submit while secretly intending to destroy the clan inheritances. Li Tongya looked toward Li Chuyang and said in a low voice, "Go with him." Li Chuyang immediately understood. He nodded, pulled Lu Yuanlu up and warned, Walk honestly behind me. Do not try anything. Not long afterward, Li Chuyang emerged from the Lu clan compound carrying 3 jade slips. Lu Yuanlu followed behind him with a flattering expression. Li Chuyang bowed respectfully. Clan uncle, there is a spiritual spring inside one of the caves on Mount Huatian. The concentration of spiritual energy there is quite high, roughly 10% higher than the cave dwelling on Mixi Peak. It is an excellent place. Li Tongya nodded. He accepted the 3 jade slips and sent his spiritual sense into them. Not bad. All 3 were chi refining cultivation arts. 2 were first-grade methods. Li Tongya naturally kept them. The final one, however, was unusual. It was called the Cave-Spring Spirit-Coiling Art, a 3rd-grade cultivation method that required the clear spiritual water of a cave spring to refine chi. Practicing the Cave-Spring Spirit-Coiling Art produces abundant vitality and exceptional endurance. So that is why Lu Cixi wanted Mount Huatian. He was aiming for this spiritual spring. No wonder Lu Cixi himself refined ordinary chi, yet Lu Yuanlu used the Cave-Spring Spirit-Coiling Art. Another old question had finally been answered. Li Tongya waved his sleeve. Clan soldiers immediately escorted the remaining Lu clansmen back toward the 4 towns. Li Xuanyuan accompanied Li Tongya into the Lu clan's cave, dwelling to inspect the spiritual spring. Li Xuanfeng led those who wished to rebuild the Lu clan down the mountain. His gaze swept calmly across the group. On more than one face he could see buried hatred. He smiled mockingly and continued leading them forward. After traveling for some time, a group of people appeared ahead. Brother Feng, are they all here? Li Xuanling wore armor and carried a sword. Behind him, Li clan soldiers stood with blades flashing coldly in their hands. The sight made the Lu clansmen's hearts tremble. Yet Li Xuanling merely smiled as he asked the question. Every one of them. Li Xuanfeng nodded. I watched carefully along the way. No one slipped away. The faces of the Lu clansmen changed instantly. One man forced himself to remain calm and shouted, Your ancestor said he would escort us beyond Li territory. Do not act on your own and make your elder break his word, Li Xuanfeng sneered. Only then did the group realize that Li clan soldiers had already surrounded the area. Li Xuanfeng glanced at the speaker. This place is already outside Li clan territory. How does that not count as escorting you beyond our borders? He smiled. Unfortunately, you encountered bandits on the road. Many of you were killed. The survivors scattered and vanished without a trace. Naturally, the Lu clan could no longer be rebuilt. You! The soldiers around them charged forward in silence. Cries, screams, and desperate pleas immediately filled the forest. Cold blades flashed. Blood sprayed across the ground. The Lu clansmen fell like wheat beneath a sickle. Li Xuanfeng lifted his bow and shot down the embryonic breath cultivators who tried to resist. Li Xuanling watched until every last one had fallen. Then he personally inspected the bodies one by one. Only after confirming there were no survivors did he say quietly, These soldiers were all carefully selected. Every one of them is absolutely loyal. What happened here will never spread. This way, both sides of the matter are handled cleanly. Exactly. Li Xuanfeng slung the bow across his back. Below, the soldiers had already begun digging pits to bury the corpses. After thinking for several breaths, he said, We still have to watch those who chose to submit. There may be clever people among them who harbor malicious intentions. Once they are settled in the towns, keep them under close observation. Do not let them create trouble. Leave that to Brother Xuanyuan. Li Xuanling smiled. At least now he could return and speak with Lu Wanyang. That thought relieved him somewhat. The 2 brothers exchanged a smile, then led the troops back through the forest. After dealing with the Lu clansmen on Mount Huatian, Li Tongya knew time was pressing. He did not dare delay. He immediately rode the wind toward the Lu clan's other holdings. The Lu clan certainly possessed more than those 3 inheritances. Years ago, when the Ji clan destroyed the Wan clan, Wan Huatian destroyed the Wan clan's formation inheritance before dying. Even so, the Ji clan still obtained a number of key notes on formation techniques. Later, when the Lu clan destroyed the Ji clan at Qizong Mountain, those materials must have fallen into Lu hands. Breaking the formation on Mount Huatian has already cost us time. I do not know what has happened in the east. After flying for roughly the time it took an incense stick to burn, passing layer after layer of dense forest, Li Tongya finally saw Mount Gaoyuan ahead. But before he could reach it, a young man flew toward him. The youth wore golden armor and carried a jade axe. A brilliant crimson true essence barrier covered his body. His cultivation was at the 3rd level of chi refining. He lifted his head, revealing bright, intelligent eyes. He looked no more than 14 or 15. He had clearly been waiting for a long time. May I ask? I am An Jingming of the An clan. The youth's voice was clear and respectful. Greetings, Senior Tongya. I have been waiting here for some time. An Jingming studied Li Tongya with sharp eyes. So this is Li Tongya. He looks upright, steady, and composed. I wonder whether the sword in his hand truly deserves the rumors. Li Tongya examined him carefully. Seeing the youth's still childish features, he could not help feeling shocked. So this is An Jingming, the An clan genius everyone has been talking about. He is only 14 or 15, yet he is already at the 3rd level of qi refining. Truly astonishing. Winter had just passed. Li Xuanfeng was now 20, and he too was only at the 3rd level of qi refining, and even that had been aided by the cultivation granted through the clan's sacrificial blessing. Moreover, the Li clan's Tai-Yin breathing and wheel-nourishing scripture was far superior to the cultivation methods of neighboring clans. Without it, Li Xuanfeng might have needed 3 to 5 years for each additional level of qi refining. 3rd level qi refining at 15, even Jing'er might not have matched that pace. Li Tongya remained silent for several breaths. An Jingming spoke first. I fear Senior Tongya has made this trip for nothing. My clan elders have already reached an agreement with the Ding clan of the Junlin Plains regarding Mount Yun. The remnants of the Wan clan remain within your territory, so Mount Huatian naturally belongs to the Li clan. The An clan will not interfere. But Mount Yun has already been promised to the Ding clan. Li Tongya felt a trace of displeasure but did not immediately respond. Instead, he smiled. Fellow Taoist truly is young and accomplished. Does An Jingming not fear that if you leave the mountain so openly the Yu clan might harm you? Of course he fears it. An Jingming lowered his head and sighed. His youthful face revealed a weariness far beyond his age. Precisely because we fear them, the An clan invited the Ding clan into Wangyue Lake. This matter was indeed handled improperly by my An clan. Junior is willing to surrender our share of the Qingwu mine as compensation. I hope Senior Tongya can understand. Li Tongya stared at him for a moment and smiled. Mount Yun was already out of reach, he thought. The art of seeking veins is still in the An clan's hands. If I seize their share entirely, they will withdraw every cultivator from the mine. Then later, when we need them to locate another vein, we will have to invite them back, and they will be able to squeeze us for whatever price they want. This brat is crafty. Li Tongya did not step into the trap. He waved a hand and smiled. Our 2 clans share a border. There is no need to make matters so ugly. The An clan may retain 2 shares. We can all earn from the mine together. An Jingming smiled and nodded lightly. At that moment, a figure streaked in from the west. A pitch-black longbow blended almost completely with the night-dark colors behind him. It was Li Xuanfeng. The instant Li Xuanfeng stabilized in the air, his gaze collided with An Jingming's. For a moment, the two simply stared at one another. An Jingming quickly smiled and lowered his head. Li Xuanfeng's eyes, however, lit with excitement. The arrows in the quiver at his waist trembled and chimed softly. Then it is settled. An Jingming did not want to risk being surrounded by both Li Tongya and Li Xuanfeng. He hurriedly cupped his hands. Jingming takes his leave. Then he turned and flew north. That one is extremely young. Li Xuanfeng watched him go. Yet his strength is not weak at all. Li Tongya nodded. An Jingming is much harder to deal with than An Jingming. He is absolutely not an easy opponent. Clans that decline in manpower and talent like the Lu clan are rare. The An clan and the Yu clan are both entering periods of revival. Li Xuanfeng nodded. He did not think much of Yu Mugao, however. Only An Jingming truly remained in his mind. As the two flew west together, he smiled. An Jingming would make a good opponent. Yu Mugao? Not necessarily. That man carries himself like someone gentle and harmless, but the smile on his face is false from beginning to end. Li Tongya turned toward him, his expression serious. Do not underestimate him. Yu Mugao is deep-minded, vicious, and difficult to deal with. Facing Yu Mugao may be just as troublesome as facing An Jingming. The two continued talking until they landed on Mount Wuchen. Li Xuanling had just climbed the stone steps. The sword at his waist was still dripping blood. Behind him followed Lu Yuanlu, who called out ingratiatingly, Son-in-law, there are several more storehouses over here. Father, Brother Feng. Li Xuanling ignored Lu Yuanlu. He cupped his hands toward Li Tongya and Li Xuanfeng. There were several more storage locations belonging to the Lu clan. Some servants were still guarding them. I dealt with them all. As for ordinary gold and silver, I will leave that aside for now. We found 31 spirit stones and 800 jin of spirit grain. Not bad. Li Tongya nodded. Nearby, Li Xuanyuan was already assigning people to garrison Mount Huatian. The group soon returned together toward Mount Lijing. Lu Wanyang had spent the entire night waiting in her courtyard. Only now did hurried voices finally sound outside. She sent her maid to take a look. The maid soon rushed back in, visibly delighted. Young miss, they are people from our Lu clan. At least their lives were spared. Do not speak nonsense. Lu Wanyang sighed softly. There is no Lu clan anymore. Soon, there will not even be anyone surnamed Lu. If you forget that and continue speaking this way, you may lose your life and drag me down with you. Some of the weight in her heart eased, yet bitterness entered her voice. I only hate that cousin of mine for being as stupid as a pig. This could have ended peacefully for both sides. The Lu clan was going to be broken apart by the surrounding families sooner or later. If they had offered up the mountains and left before the Li clan moved, they could have preserved the Li clan's face while also preserving the Lu clan's foundation. Then the Li clan would have had no reason to act ruthlessly. But now the clan is gone, people are dead. And they have made my position within the Li clan difficult as well. Hateful, truly hateful. The maid had no answer. Then Lu Yuanlu suddenly raised her head. Husband. The door creaked open. Li Xuanling entered quietly. He dismissed the nearby clan soldiers and smiled. From today onward, there is no Lu clan. Those willing to remain have submitted to our family. As for those who did not wish to stay, I let them go. Congratulations, husband. Lu Yuanlu lowered her voice. Then she frowned and asked cautiously, You truly let them go? Li Xuanling stroked her hair and pulled her into his arms. He smiled. No, but they believed I did. Lu Yuanlu went still. Then she let out a helpless breath. Forget it. Li Xuanling looked at her for a moment. His thoughts had already moved elsewhere. Brother Xuanyuan's eldest son, Yuanshu, is already 5. There are only 2 talisman seeds left in the clan. Father wants someone to inherit little uncle's branch, which means 1 seed will likely be used there. At that point, how can there possibly be enough for the Yuan generation? And if an eldest son is born without a spiritual aperture, should we use a talisman seed to create one for him? Or should the seed go first to someone else with greater talent? It is not simply a matter of distributing them evenly. There are too many complications. If handled poorly, brothers within the clan could become estranged. This cannot be treated lightly. His desire to celebrate vanished. Li Xuanling smiled faintly at Lu Yuanlu. There are still matters on the mountain. I need to go up again. Rest well. I will return tomorrow to see you. Lu Yuanlu nodded blankly. Li Xuanling walked toward the door, then suddenly stopped. He turned back. I remember one of your clansmen. The one who came earlier to report Lu Cici's death is still here. What is his cultivation? A mortal. Lu Yuanlu understood what he was asking. She answered quickly. Only then did Li Xuanling relax and leave the courtyard. As he walked, he murmured, Even a mortal cannot be ignored. I should remind Brother Xuanyuan. At first light the next morning, the leaves had fallen from the forests across the mountain range, and clear beads of dew hung from bare branches. Li Tongya returned to Mount Lijing. The recovery granted by heavy Silong Whalegang Chi far exceeded that of an ordinary cultivator. With every breath, his depleted true essence had already been replenished. Once he finished regulating his breathing, Li Tongya closed his eyes and examined his cultivation. He had broken through to the 6th level of Qi refining a year ago. Progress since then had been slow. The final 3 levels of Qi refining are all about accumulation. They cannot be crossed quickly. I may still need another 5 or 6 years of hard cultivation. As that thought passed through his mind, the formation patterns of the Sunright Mystic Light Formation suddenly flashed. Li Tongya's expression sharpened. A resonant voice came from outside the formation. The Ding clan of the Junlin Plains has come to pay a visit. Brother Tongya, please show yourself and meet us. Li Tongya frowned and looked outward. Beyond the formation stood an elderly man with thick brows and a rough face. He carried a staff in one hand and was carefully examining the golden formation below. Judging by his aura, he was a peak Qi refining cultivator. The An clan invited another family from the Junlin Plains into this region to restrain both the Yu clan and my Li clan. They have taken the distant mountain, so this must be the Ding clan. At least they understand courtesy. They have only just arrived and already came to visit. With a movement of his spiritual sense, Li Tongya opened a narrow gap in the formation. He cupped his hands. Li Tongya of the Lijing Li clan greets senior. Aya, no need for such formality. Ding Siding waved both hands and landed on Mount Lijing. He looked at Li Tongya and offered congratulations. I have long heard the famous name of the Qingwei Sword Immortal. This mountain truly has fortune, to have raised such a sword immortal. Ding Siding was clever. He knew that simply praising Mount Lijing as some immortal paradise would sound too false, so he changed the angle of his compliment. He cupped his hands again. Congratulations as well, Brother Tongya, on expanding your immortal territory and finally stepping out from this isolated corner among dangerous mountains. Li Tongya laughed softly. The Ding clan has also just obtained new territory. Congratulations to both of us. Come, let us speak inside. The 2 families had only just finished dividing what once belonged to the Lu clan. Because the Li and Lu clans were linked by marriage, the Li clan had at least offered the people on Mount Huatian a nominal road to survival. The Lu clansmen on Mount Yun had not been so fortunate. The Ding clan had killed them all. The blood on their blades had not yet fully dried. Ding Ziding entered the courtyard with a hearty laugh. Wanting to establish some relationship, he said, Brother Tongya may not know this, but my Ding clan has been family friends with the Yuan clan for generations. And a woman of the Yuan clan cultivates on Qingwei Peak. By seniority, she is actually senior sister to the Sword Immortal. So there is such a deep connection. Li Tongya cooperated perfectly on the surface. Inside, however, he could not help laughing coldly. Family friends for generations? Marriage ties? Everyone says such things when it is useful. Were the An and Lu clans not also longtime allies? The moment Lu Cixi died, the An clan brought outsiders in to seize Mount Yun. One slash of the blade, and not a trace of old affection remained. So-called friendship is worth less than a few shares of profit. Ding Ziding nodded faintly. He himself felt helpless. For more than 200 years, the Ding clan had not expanded its territory. The Yuan clan had treated them like watchdogs guarding the entrance to the Junlin Plains. Now the Ding clan had finally escaped that cramped situation. Yet just outside their new doorstep were a Sword Immortal clan and a Foundation establishment aristocratic family. It was enough to make anyone feel uneasy. Li Tongya's thoughts stirred. He gave a bitter smile. Senior has come from the Junlin Plains to take charge of this mountain. Then naturally you cannot avoid notifying the Yu clan. You will still have to travel to Milan Commandery and offer them some gifts. Otherwise they may take offense. Ding Ziding's expression changed dramatically. He set his teacup down with a thud. There is such a thing? The Yu clan is truly that domineering? The Yu clan controls a vast territory. Yu Shaoji is at early Foundation establishment, while the White Jade Hand Yu Yufeng is at late Foundation establishment. Neither is ordinary, and their younger generation is filled with talented cultivators. These days, Wangyue Lake might as well belong to the Yu clan alone. Li Tongya sighed repeatedly as though deeply wronged. Ding Ziding was visibly shaken. Even the Li clan, famous for producing a sword immortal, is threatened by them? My Li clan does not submit to them. But if I said we were not wary at all, that would be false. Li Tongya lowered his voice. Senior, if such a family lived beside you, would you not think of the future of your children and grandchildren? The Yu clan is simply too powerful. Ding Ziding found the argument extremely reasonable. He nodded repeatedly and thought bitterly. The An clan warned me about this, but I only half believed them. I did not expect even the Li clan to fear the Yu clan to this extent. If the Ding clan truly wishes to establish itself beside Wangyue Lake, then we will have to disrupt the Yu clan somehow. His thoughts immediately turned toward how he might contact Foundation establishment friends and the Yuan clan's outside support to strike at the Yu clan. Li Tongya watched the old man fall into deep thought and smiled faintly. He did not interrupt. Only after several dozen breaths did Ding Ziding suddenly look up. He apologized. I lost myself in thought. Brother Tongya, please forgive me. It is nothing. The two chatted a while longer before Ding Ziding finally took his leave. Li Tongya watched him disappear into the distance. Then he returned to the main seat and looked at the map of Wangyue Lake spread across the table. His finger touched the corner marked Mount Huatian. With this territory, the Li clan can develop in peace for another 30 years. As for all of you, fight among yourselves first. A faint smile appeared on his face. Then the courtyard gate sounded softly. Li Xuanling entered, came before him and bowed. Father, what is it? Li Tongya kept his gaze on the map. It is about the talisman seeds. Li Xuanling repeated the concerns that had been weighing on him. He spoke about the different branches of the family, the younger generation, and the danger of causing resentment among brothers. Li Tongya's movements slowed slightly. He listened in silence for more than 10 breaths before nodding. You have considered the matter correctly. This must be handled cautiously. He looked up at his son and praised him. Your instincts are accurate. Good, but merely seeing the problem is not enough. Have you thought of a solution? Li Xuanling considered the question. In this son's opinion, the best method would be to distribute the talisman seeds evenly among the 4 branches. Each branch should receive one. Unfortunately, there are not enough talisman seeds. In that case, we can only choose the best candidates. We should wait until the eldest sons of the branches grow older, and their spiritual apertures become clear, then compare their talent. After that, we can choose the owners of the remaining 2 talisman seeds. Li Tongya shook his head lightly. You are still young. You do not yet look far enough ahead. Even if we had enough talisman seeds, we could not divide them evenly among the 4 branches. Doing so would only cause the branches to drift farther and farther apart. Eventually, they would form separate interests. One branch might rise above the others and begin suppressing them. Another might try to seize talisman seeds by force. He paused. Instead, every generation should select only one Qilin child and raise that child with special care. 1 generation, 1 talisman seed. If you use all the seeds now, what happens 20 years later when the Shi or Yue generation is born and some extraordinary genius appears? Where will you obtain another talisman seed then? Li Xuanling nodded repeatedly. This son understands. He thought for several breaths, then asked. Then how do we determine which child is the Qilin child worthy of such cultivation? Li Tongya smiled softly. How is that difficult? Let everyone close their eyes and kneel before the divine mirror together. Then we simply watch. Whichever child receives the talisman seed, that one is the Qilin. With Mount Huatian newly acquired, the Li clan suddenly had a vast area waiting to be developed. Workers and laborers who had spent several quiet years in the old territory finally had somewhere to go. Population from the existing towns also began migrating toward the new lands. Mount Huatian immediately filled with activity. Craftsmen flooded the foot of the mountain and construction began everywhere. The entire Qingwu mine now lay inside Li clan territory. The clan continued using the formation plate left by the Lu clan. Without Lu cultivators mixed into the management, however, the mine no longer had to support a group of idle people who did little but eat and drink. Efficiency actually improved considerably. The Lu clan had never paid much attention to the welfare of ordinary people. The villages beneath Mount Huatian were full of miserable scenes. When news of those conditions reached the four towns, residents could not help feeling emotional. A local opera troupe was selected to perform a play based on the affair. The theater was packed. Not a single seat remained empty. Even Li Xuanyuan quietly stood at the back and watched for a while before smiling, shaking his head and leaving. Comparison made everything clearer. The residents of the four towns had already grown accustomed to their relatively prosperous lives. Now, seeing the poverty of the newly acquired villages gave that prosperity a new flavor. Wages went into people's pockets. Men found construction work. Craftsmen and merchants prospered. Every industry began developing more vigorously. Across the two mountain territories, nearly 100,000 townspeople now lived under Li clan rule. Every year, roughly 1,000 children were born. Among them, one or two would usually be discovered with spiritual apertures. Most were not particularly talented. Over the decades, however, the Li clan had continuously absorbed bloodlines carrying spiritual apertures. As a result, most ordinary people born with such talent were eventually brought into the Li clan system and assigned to oversee spirit fields in the towns. Snow covered the mountains. Li Xuanyuan happily carried a sack of spirit rice up the slope and hurried into the courtyard. He waited until Li Tongya finished drawing the talisman in his hand before approaching with a smile. "Granduncle, this is the first batch of yellow jade spirit rice harvested this year. 70 jin in total." Yellow jade spirit rice had become a new form of tribute imposed on key refining clans like the Li family. Its value was 4 to 5 times that of ordinary spirit grain. It was also far more troublesome to cultivate. Not only did the fields need frequent spiritual rain, the local earth veins had to be combed and regulated from time to time. If the cultivators tending the fields were only at the first level of embryonic breath, it might take 5 or 6 of them to manage a single plot together. At least a 5th-level embryonic breath cultivator at the Jade Capital Wheel stage was required to cultivate such a field alone. Not bad. Li Tongya nodded and opened the sack. Every grain shone like polished jade, overflowing with spiritual energy. He could not help smiling. As expected of food meant for qi refining cultivators, the spiritual energy is indeed abundant. The Li clan must now submit 300 jin of yellow jade spirit rice and 2,000 jin of ordinary spirit grain every year. The remaining 7 or 8 medicinal ingredients are easier. We can assign some lower-level embryonic breath cultivators to grow them, but these 2 types of spirit grain require proper planning. Granduncle, do not worry. Li Xuanyuan cupped his hands. Now that we possess Mount Huatian, I have already sent people to open new fields. The Li clan can currently produce around 450 jin of yellow jade spirit rice and more than 3,000 jin of ordinary spirit grain each year. That is more than enough. Li Tongya began drawing another talisman. After several breaths, he said, "Pay attention to how labor is assigned. Those with poor talent and lower cultivation should handle most of the farming. Do not waste Jade Capital Wheel cultivators in the fields. Let them study talisman arts, or focus on breaking through to qi refining. You will have to judge the specific arrangements yourself. Do not make everyone feel the system is too unfair, but do not make it perfectly equal either." "I understand." Li Xuanyuan nodded. This nephew has managed the clan for many years now. Those with ordinary talent who practice ordinary embryonic breath techniques may never reach the Jade Capital Wheel in their entire lives. I understand how such people should be assigned. Good. Li Tongya put away the talisman he had finished. Then he asked, "Where is Fenger?" He already took the clan's savings to the commandery to commission his artifact. He left 3 days ago and has not returned yet. Li Xuanyuan answered. Li Tongya smiled. He has spent so long in seclusion that he must be suffocating. Let him enjoy himself for a while. Li Xuanyuan paused. Then he remembered something. Granduncle, the Chen family sent word. Chen Ernu passed away last night. Li Tongya's movement stopped. The teacup he had just lifted never reached his lips. He placed it back on the table and let out a low sigh. It was inevitable. The old man was already little more than dry bones decades ago, but he handled his affairs well. His family style was clean. That is rare. and his family is tied to ours by marriage. Come, you and I should go pay our respects." Li Xuanyuan nodded. Li Tongya's expression became complicated. Without realizing it, the older generation had almost entirely withered away. Li Mutian, Liu Linfeng, Li Chengfu, Chen Ernu, one after another they had gone. Li Tongya had nearly become the eldest generation still living. Cold wind swept down from the surrounding mountains into Lijing town. Ivory-white snowflakes struck people's faces. Children still played in the streets with cheeks flushed red from the cold, chattering excitedly among themselves. Clan brother Pingyi, Uncle Jiwen is one of the town chiefs. Last month, most of the clan cultivators went to Mount Huatian. Did Uncle Fu say what happened? The children were either from Li or Yi families, or from households related to the Li clan by marriage. Wrapped in thick cotton clothes, several boys crowded around the one in the middle and craned their necks toward him. Li Pingyi looked around proudly. "My father told me there are 3 villages below Mount Huatian, with only a little more than 5,000 people. The mountain has issued orders to establish new towns there. This time, people went over to reorganize the villages and inspect the spirit fields." Li Pingyi was Li Shiwen's eldest son, and Li Yesheng's own grandson. He looked clever and quick-witted. The Yuan generation had not yet grown old enough to lead the other children, and Li Yuanshu was quiet by nature and disliked causing trouble. That left Li Pingyi free to become the little king among the children. He was quite pleased with himself. Who did that? The children still wanted to ask more questions, but someone suddenly rushed in from the side and trampled through 2 piles of snow stacked along the street. Adults nearby saw the mess and immediately shouted for the children to pile the snow back up. The entire group scattered at once, yelling and laughing. Li Pingyi, caught in the middle, was shoved down and landed face-first on the ground. Stars seemed to explode in his vision. "Don't run! Don't run! Hey, stop pushing! They say I'm an arrogant little tyrant because I act too overbearing. But we're just children. Why are you all running?" Before he had even finished complaining, the street was already empty. Li Pingyi pushed himself up. Directly in front of him stood a pair of brown beast-hide boots. Without thinking, he immediately cupped his hands. "My father is Li Xiawen. May I ask who you are, senior?" There was no answer. The surrounding clan soldiers were strangely silent, though several were visibly trying not to laugh. Li Pingyi slowly raised his head, then his face went pale. Li Jiwen stood before him, furious. "Father, how did you find me here?" Li Jiwen glared at him. Deep down, he nearly found the situation amusing, but he kept his face stern. "You little bastard. Using your father's name while causing trouble outside? Wait until we get home. I'll settle accounts with you then. For now, come with me." Li Xiawen appeared strict, but in truth he was quite satisfied with his son. At the same age, he himself had been much duller. Li Yixing had spent his childhood constantly cursing him for being stupid. If his brothers had not been even more foolish, perhaps Li Xiawen would never have become the man who now served beside Li Xuanyuan, managing the affairs of the 4 towns and 2 mountains. Li Yesheng and Li Xiangping had once entered Shanyu territory together and shared life and death dangers. Now Li Xiawen assisted Li Xuanyuan in governing the Li clan's lands. He had married a woman with a spiritual aperture. Unfortunately, when Li Pingyi was tested the previous year, the boy had no spiritual aperture. Li Xiawen had already quietly arranged his future path. He would follow Li Yuanshu and continue the work his father and grandfather had done before him. Li Pingyi trailed behind his father. He nervously glanced at the white mourning robes Xia Wen was wearing. His eyes turned rapidly. "Who died? This looks like a huge funeral." Li Jiwen nodded approvingly at the boy's quick observation. Then he made his expression serious. "An elder of the Chen family. One of the earliest town leaders. He had some connection with the people on the mountain. Behave properly. This is an important funeral. Do not embarrass me." "Sir." When Chen Dinghe entered his family's home, people on both sides addressed him as Sir. The title made him uncomfortable. Yet he could not bring himself to say anything. Before dying, Chen Ernu had spoken with him one last time. Chen Dongyi had been unable to stop crying. Chen Ernu held his hand and said hoarsely, "From now on, act boldly. Your father will not blame you. You are a clever child. You know how to handle affairs. Protect the family well." Chen Ernu understood the knot in his son's heart. Although Chen Donghe marrying into the Li clan had been a decision they made together, Chen Ernu's own family line had long since nearly disappeared. If Li Mutian's father, Li Genshui, had not saved him years ago, there would not even be a Chen family today. Moreover, they lived inside Li clan territory. Father and son had never truly possessed the freedom to refuse. Even so, Chen Ernu had once publicly driven Chen Donghe from his home. He had stood in the street and loudly cursed the son he treasured most, deliberately creating the appearance that the Chen family had severed all ties with him. Chen Ernu knew that their relationship with the Li clan had long since become close enough that such acting was unnecessary. Yet he had still done it out of caution. Now the old man was dead. Chen Donghe returned to his coffin with a heart full of guilt. From childhood through youth and into adulthood, 2 men had shaped his life. Before he was 7, it had been Chen Erniu. After 7, it had been Li Shangping. One had taught him caution, patience, and concession. The other had taught him when to strike decisively. Father! Chen Donghe knelt before the coffin and broke down. One father after another had left him. How could he not grieve? Li Jingtian stood beside him and gently rubbed his back. Chen Donghe wore white mourning clothes. Standing in the wind, he looked unusually thin and lonely. Li Tongya also sighed. He had watched Chen Donghe grow from a child. Now the young man had married Li Jingtian. Seeing him sobbing before the coffin, Li Tongya remained silent. The atmosphere below became heavy. Even Li Pingyi could not help crying. He wiped his eyes and looked toward Li Yuanlu beside him. The other boy's eyes were filled with tears as well. Brother Yuanlu. Li Yuanlu turned his head and quietly signaled for him to remain silent. The two lowered their heads and cried without another word. Only after Chen Erniu's funeral ended did the children leave the house. Li Yuanlu silently sat on the stone steps outside. Li Pingyi sniffled. If my father died, I would be this sad too. He wiped his eyes. Sunlight reflected in the tears around Li Yuanlu's eyes. Li Pingyi lowered his voice. Brother Yuanlu. Li Yuanlu lifted his lashes and looked at him. Li Pingyi spoke with the seriousness of an oath. If you died, I'd be sad too. Li Yuanlu nodded hard. He seemed about to answer, but Li Xuanyuan had already emerged from the courtyard. He took the boy by the hand. The two walked away together. Li Pingyi remained sitting there for a while. Then he stood, slapped the snow and dust from his clothes, and disappeared alone into an alley to play. Li Xuanfeng had arrived in the town 3 days earlier. He spent several quiet private days with Jiang Yunu before finally remembering that the Guanyun Peak Market was about to open. The large wild goose still prowled around the courtyard angrily, honking without pause. Li Xuanfeng carried Jiang Yunu around the courtyard for a while. Her face turned red as she asked, "If we have children in the future, what should we call them?" Li Xuanfeng grinned. "I belong to the Xuan generation. If we have a son, his generation name will use Yuan. If we have a daughter, then Qing." Jiang Yunu nodded. Li Xuanfeng checked the time and said softly, "The Guanyun Peak Market is about to open. I still have proper business to handle. I need to go out for a while. When I'm done, I'll come back." He prepared his clothes, said goodbye to Jiang Yunu and flew west. Before long, he landed at the foot of Guanyun Peak. He walked along the market street. The roadside stalls gradually became fewer, replaced by proper storefronts. After looking around, Li Xuanfeng chose an artifact shop and entered. An embryonic breath cultivator stood inside. The attendant immediately greeted him with a smile. Li Xuanfeng said, "Go ask your shopkeeper how many spirit stones it costs to commission a reliable artifact. I want a custom qi refining grade longbow." The attendant froze. Then he nodded repeatedly. Of course. Of course. This lowly one will go immediately." He hurried into the back. Not long afterward, a muscular, bare-chested man pushed open the rear door and strode in. Metal ornaments and tools hung all over his body, clinking loudly with each step. He was a peak qi refining cultivator. What requirements does fellow Taoist have? The man's face was covered in rough beard. His eyes were sharp and full of spirit. His appearance was rugged, but his voice was surprisingly gentle. He stared at Li Xuanfeng for a moment as though trying to remember something. "I am Li Xuanfeng of the Lijing Li clan. Greetings, fellow Taoist." The Lijing Li clan, the rugged man suddenly understood. "So you are from the clan of the Qingwei Sword Immortal." He cupped his hands. "I am Chu Minglian. Years ago I operated a small shop on Wangyue Lake. I even had a little connection with your elders." "Really?" Li Xuanfeng immediately became interested. "Back then, the Qingwei Sword Immortal came to my shop and sold me a rare portion of Fire Within Fire Baleful Qi from Ye. Later, when the Qingwei Sword Immortal's fame spread, old Chu kept thinking the name sounded strangely familiar. I thought about it day and night until I finally realized who he had been. Afterward, I regretted it terribly. If I had known, I should have paid a few more spirit stones. Who knows? Maybe I could have earned a favor from a sword immortal!" Chu Minglian had an easy sense of humor. With a few words, the distance between them disappeared. Li Xuanfeng laughed loudly and cupped his hands. "So Senior Chu has such fate with my family. Then it seems I'll be able to save a few spirit stones today." Chu Minglian had just started laughing. Li Xuanfeng's words caught him so completely off guard that the sound died in his throat. He stared for a second or two before finally laughing again. Little brother truly knows how to joke. He looked Li Xuanfeng over once more and sighed. The Li clan really does produce talented people one after another. When the Sword Immortal came to my shop, he was only at embryonic breath. Now he is already a Foundation Establishment senior, and little brother has reached qi refining at such a young age. Your future is difficult to measure. Li Xuanfeng exchanged a few polite words with him before quickly returning to the main subject. He explained the kind of artifact he wanted. Chu Minglian listened carefully and nodded. Your weapon is certainly unusual. Very few cultivators use bows at all, much less a bow this heavy. After thinking for several breaths, he said, for the bow body, I would use golden square temperstone and refine it with profound fire. Only then can the weapon withstand 5,000 jin of pulling force while retaining enough flexibility. As for the bowstring, would you prefer demon sinew or metal? Metal. Li Xuanfeng immediately thought of how destructive his gang qi was to flesh and sinew, while metal transmitted the force far more cleanly. A metal string would be more suitable. Then Qingwu metal essence. Chu Minglian nodded. It can be refined from ordinary Qingwu ore. A sufficient quantity of Qingwu metal essence will meet your requirements. Li Xuanfeng nodded repeatedly. Good. Good. How many spirit stones will it cost? Chu Minglian smiled. The raw materials will cost 80 spirit stones. I will need at least half a year to forge the weapon. My labor costs 120 spirit stones in total. Li Xuanfeng's feet almost went numb. The price was far beyond his estimate. Even after adding the 50 spirit stones the clan had given him, everything inside his storage pouch was only worth a little more than 100. Yet he was extremely satisfied with the bow Chu Minglian had described. He gritted his teeth. Senior, if I provide the Qingwu ore myself, how much can the price be reduced? Chu Minglian thought for a moment. The Qingwu material accounts for 30 spirit stones. If you can supply it yourself, then you only need to pay 90. Then it's settled. Li Xuanfeng immediately brightened. Spirit stones clattered onto the table in a pile. The shop attendant carefully counted them. Then Li Xuanfeng produced a large block of blue-green Qingwu ore and handed it over for Chu Minglian to cut and inspect. He stared expectantly at the refiner. At last, Chu Minglian smiled and nodded. Little brother, come back in half a year. Li Xuanfeng nodded eagerly. The two went together to the Shao clan's contract office inside the market. There, they made a profound realm spirit oath and completed the commission. Only then did Li Xuanfeng leave happily. His storage pouch was nearly empty, but he did not regret the expense at all. Half a year later, Li Xuanfeng returned to the market. Chu Mingxian was still as energetic and hurried as ever. He was not enormous, but he was tall and broad-shouldered. The moment he saw Li Xuanfeng, he laughed. Little brother Xuanfeng, you've come for your bow? Exactly. Li Xuanfeng's eyes moved past him. Two embryonic breath apprentices followed behind Chu Minglian. Together, they were carrying a long, thick bow of dark gold. The weapon gleamed with a deep metallic luster. Both apprentices were panting heavily, their bodies soaked in sweat. They carried the bow to a stone table and lowered it. Boom! The table shook violently. Chu Minglian hurriedly placed one hand on the tabletop. A white halo spread from his palm and dispersed the force before the stone could crack. Then he turned and scolded the apprentices. You can't even handle a task this simple. The two lowered their heads meekly. Only then did Chu Minglian turn back toward Li Xuanfeng with a smile. The bow body is forged from golden square temperstone. The string is made from Qingwu metal essence. I refined it in profound fire for a full 126 days. The entire bow is engraved with spirit gathering and qi condensing runes. It is 7 qi and 6 kun in length, with a broad, heavy frame. The golden square temperstone naturally carries a dark gold color and gives the whole weapon a subdued luster. Among qi refining artifacts, it can be considered high grade. There are only two problems. It is extraordinarily heavy and extremely difficult to draw. Good. Very good. Li Xuanfeng's brows lifted with delight. He seized the dark gold longbow with one hand. His right hand gripped the bow. His left caught the string. He set his feet, clenched his teeth, and opened his eyes wide. Vast blood qi rose from his body. A fierce grin appeared on his face. Open! The enormous dark gold bow immediately bent. He drew it all the way into the shape of a crescent moon. A thunderous crack exploded through the shop. The two apprentices, who had been standing nearby hoping to watch him struggle, nearly had their jaws fall open. A sharp ringing filled their ears. Both men crouched in pain. Even Chu Minglian felt as though invisible blades had cut across his face. He retreated half a step, utterly shocked. How is this possible? Could this man be some transformed demon beast? How can a human possess this kind of strength? I deliberately forged the bow heavy. I thought an ordinary cultivator would only need to draw it 30% to make use of it. Who could have imagined Li Xuanfeng would pull it directly into a full crescent in one breath? Objects throughout the shop began trembling. Chu Minglian hurried forward. His expression tightened. Fellow Taoist, my shop contains many fragile items. If you release that string here, I'm afraid more than half of them will shatter. The moment Li Xuanfeng heard that, he thought of his already empty storage pouch and suddenly felt it become even emptier. He slowly relaxed the bowstring. My apologies. I became too excited. Thank you for warning me. Chu Minglian smiled. Have you thought of a name for the bow? Li Xuanfeng considered it for several breaths. Then I will call it Jingjung. Chu Minglian laughed. A hint of pride appeared on his face. Are you satisfied? Completely. Brother Chu, your craftsmanship is excellent. Li Xuanfeng happily slung the bow across his back. He and Chu Minglian went to the market office to dissolve the contract oath and confirm that the payment had been completed. Then Li Xuanfeng rode the wind out of the market and hurried home. When he entered the Sunright Mystic Light Formation on Mount Lijing, a crack sounded beneath his foot. The Jinggung longbow had struck a stone paving brick and crushed it. Li Xuanfeng could only laugh awkwardly. He lifted the bow and entered the courtyard. Li Tongya was demonstrating sword techniques for Li Xuanling. The two practiced in the courtyard while little Li Yuanlu sat on a stone stool nearby, staring with wide eyes. The scene felt unusually warm. Li Tongya saw Li Xuanfeng and smiled. He sheathed his sword. You brought the bow back? Haha. Li Xuanfeng came forward carrying the dark gold longbow and carefully explained the weapon to them. Li Xuanyuan had been drawing talismans nearby. He finally came out with a helpless expression. The three of them insisted on finding an open place to test the bow properly, so the four traveled to a clear area in the mountains. Li Xuanfeng planted one foot forward and pulled the string. He focused his mind and began gathering power. Golden runes lit one after another across the dark gold metal bow. The string also shone with dense light. A radiant golden arrow of condensed true essence slowly formed against it. Go! The distant forest exploded. The earth shook violently. A thick column of dust rose into the air. 5 or 6 large trees burst apart one after another. A deep crater was left in the ground. Yellow soil sprayed in every direction. Pale golden gangqi swept outward from the impact. Leaves were stripped from the surrounding trees. For a moment, the entire forest thundered with noise, and green leaves covered the ground. The three men beside him fell silent. Li Xuanling stared at the crater. If a Foundation establishment cultivator were caught completely off guard, I fear even they would suffer. Li Xuanfeng himself, however, shook his head thoughtfully. After a long silence, he said, My current archery still cannot truly match this bow. That shot relied only on true essence and raw spiritual power. He cupped his hands toward Li Tongya. I intend to enter seclusion for 5 years. I want to organize everything I've learned, discard what is useless, develop what suits me, and become familiar with this artifact. And as you suggested, I will compile my archery into a proper manual. Good. Li Tongya nodded with satisfaction. A light wind rose. Li Xuanfeng cupped his fist toward his two brothers. Still deep in thought, he rode the wind toward his cave dwelling on Mixi Mountain. Li Tongya, Li Xuanyuan, and Li Xuanling headed back up the mountain together. Li Xuanyuan and Li Xuanling continued, praising the bow. Li Tongya smiled. Xuanfeng has the best talent among your generation. The two of you cannot become lazy. Xuanwan, you are almost 30 now, yet you remain at the 5th level of embryonic breath, the Jade Capital Wheel. Our clan's cultivation method is far better than that of the surrounding families. Do not waste such an advantage. Xuanling, if you can break through the Jade Capital Wheel at 17, that would naturally be excellent. But both of you must reach Qi refining within the next 10 years. That will give the family 2 more true battle-capable cultivators. The 2 juniors hurriedly agreed. After walking a while, they encountered a clan soldier. The man looked somewhat nervous. Lord Chen Donghe requests an audience. With clan uncle. With me? Li Tongya paused. Li Xuanyuan and Li Xuanling also looked surprised. Then understanding dawned on Li Tongya. A smile appeared on his face. Good news. I was just saying the Li clan needed another source of fighting strength. Donghe has come to provide exactly that. Chen Donggong had been waiting outside the courtyard for some time. At last, someone came to call him in. Li Tongya sat drinking tea. Li Xuanyuan and Li Xuanling sat to either side, both smiling toward him. Junior Chen Dong has reached peak embryonic breath. I have come to request a qi refining method. Li Tongya smiled and nodded. He took a sip of tea. Dong, how old are you this year? Junior is 28. Good. Li Tongya praised him and looked toward the 2 beside him. That Yu Mufeng reached qi refining at 30, and the Yu clan praised his talent. Dong does not seem inferior to him. Junior has simply cultivated diligently. Chen Dong answered modestly. I am still far behind Xuanfeng. Li Tongya's expression became serious. There is something you should understand. The Li clan currently possesses several 3rd-grade qi refining methods, all orthodox inheritances. I watched you grow from childhood. Xingping treated you as his own son. Naturally, we will not conceal anything from you. At present, there are 2 suitable methods of gathering qi. The first is the River and Mountain 1-Key Art. The second is the Cave-Spring Spirit-Coiling Art. Li Tongya carefully explained the strengths and weaknesses of both cultivation methods. Only then did he ask, do you prefer either one? I leave the decision entirely to senior. Chen Dong bowed respectfully. Li Tongya smiled. Then use the River and Mountain 1-Key Art. I still possess one portion of River Clear Qi. You may use it for your breakthrough. After you reach Qi refining, travel to a great river and gather another portion of River Clear Qi yourself. Return that portion to the clan to replace what you used.
Thank you, Senior.
Chen Donghe bowed deeply. Li Xuanyuan led him away to make the profound realm spirit oath and receive the cultivation method. Li Xuanling also excused himself and returned to cultivation. Li Tongya watched the younger men depart. He set down his teacup and rose. The new year was approaching. By his own estimation, he was still a year or two away from the 7th level of qi refining. He had not yet crossed even half the distance. He could not help smiling bitterly. Talent only gives a person part of the road. The rest depends on hard cultivation. The world changes without warning. The Tao is merciless. Work harder. With that, he rode the wind away and returned to his cave dwelling to cultivate. 300 Li from Li clan territory, a young man in cloud-patterned robes was fleeing desperately through the mountain forests. A jade crown sat on his head. His robe was clearly a magical garment. In one hand, he maintained a pale purple jade pearl. The pearl projected a defensive barrier around him as he tore through the sky. Behind him pursued 2 white-robed Taoists. Both had long, flowing beards. Each carried a ritual sword and stood atop a flying shuttle. They followed relentlessly. Their swords repeatedly released silver sword light. The attack slammed into the purple barrier, producing bursts of magical radiance. Lingyanzi, stop running. You are only prolonging your suffering. These lands are filled with insignificant little clans. If you flee to them for protection, you will only drag them to their deaths. The 2 pursuers kept their escape lights positioned so that Lingyanzi could not flee toward the commandery city. Below, scattered mortals spotted the cultivators in the sky and dropped to their knees. Despair filled Lingyanzi's heart. Where in the world is the Li Jing clan? Lingyanzi came from Xian sect, one of the 3 sects and 7 gates located west of Tangjin sect. He had entered Great Li Mountain to carry out an extremely important task. By sheer misfortune, he had run directly into these 2 bastards from Xianxia sect. They had pursued him for 3 days and 3 nights. The chase had circled around the outer regions of Great Li Mountain, from its southern slopes all the way to the northern foothills. At last, staggering and desperate, Lingyanzi managed to reach a cultivation clan. While dodging another attack from the 2 pursuers, he shouted for help. But this was only a small family near the edge of the Junlin Plains. How could they dare involve themselves in a conflict between disciples of the 3 sects and 7 gates? The clan members answered timidly. Our strength is low, Senior. Please continue west. There is a clan there called the Li Jing clan. We have heard that they are a sword immortal family. They will certainly be able to resolve Senior's calamity.